Hey there, this is K4A Knowledge for All educational videos and tutorials. In this video today we are going to learn how to delete custom messages which we created in Scratch, broadcast messages, and is that possible, the problems, and so on. The comment was made on my video on how to broadcast message and so on, and that's why I was making this video. The guy who commented said, Abdurrahman Asik said, cool, but do you know how to delete old messages, old message? So let's try to do it. First, long story short, for all of you who don't have the time to watch the complete videos and so on, although I recommend it because we always try to learn and share as much tips as possible and workflows so you can try to understand the complete picture and the wider picture, not only the specific problem. For all of you who are in hurry, there is no simple way to delete old messages, broadcast messages, custom messages which you have created just like that, just by, for example, right-clicking on them and picking delete it. There is no way to do it as simple as that, and the only way to do it is just by deleting the sprite, the character, the object itself. So right-clicking on it, delete, or click on this delete trash icon here. Again, it's ugly, it's not very smart, it's strange, and I do not recommend doing that if you really don't have to do it for some reason. I don't see the good reason. It's better to have the messages that you don't use somewhere here in your user interface than to delete the character itself. But that's again the solution for the problem so far. But again, I will try to explain in this video some workarounds for it, some maybe possible solution and explanations why is that so, and so on. So for all of you who don't know, let's first see where the broadcast message blocks are. For all of you who didn't watch the video on broadcast message or don't use the Scratch so often, the broadcast message blocks are here in events block, the yellow circle. So if you're, for example, here or here, just click on the yellow circle, and here they are at the end. When I receive message, broadcast message, and wait. Those three blocks. And now let's see how to define new message. So for example, or let's just see how message look here, broadcast message, and here it is. You can define the new message with this button, new message, or you can use the message one as by default by Scratch, and that's where you would define new message or use existing already given to you. And what users expect, most of the users, myself also. For example, if I don't need this message one, the reasons could be different. I don't need it anymore. I want to make my workflow clear, my whole here space clear. I don't, for example, if I had 10 messages, I want to delete some of those so I can work faster and easier and I have a clear view. I would expect that I could just right click on it and pick some kind of delete, or maybe I can press delete on my keyboard. Oops. So when I press the delete key on my keyboard, it deletes the whole block, not the message. Let's do it again. So I want to delete message one, press delete on my keyboard, but it deletes the whole message block, and that's not what I want. what I want is something like this. So click on variables, group of blocks, and you can see here similar to messages, I can click on drop down menu and pick some kind of variable which is by default, message which is by default, so it works the same. But the reason here and the good thing here is that I can actually click on this button, delete the my variable, or for example, if I click on this button here, my variable, with my right mouse click, I can rename it or delete it. So I can delete it here by picking the button delete, or I can right click and click on delete my variable. So for variables, user interface is working greatly. Programmers did it that way. I don't know why they didn't use the same analogy and the same idea here. So I cannot right click here, but I can right click on variables. I do not have delete message here, but I have delete variable here. So again, I don't know why they didn't do it. It would be great if they can somehow fix it in the future for future versions of Scratch, but it's up to them. But I just wanted to show you what most people would expect and how things would work and what would be the easiest way to do it. And it's funny how for some blocks it works that way, right click or pick button delete, but for some it doesn't. Okay, so we have seen where the broadcast message blocks are. Let's now try to define problems. So for example, I want to create a game where I click on this cat, so I will use when the sprite is clicked, and let me just test that with, for example, play sound. So where the sprite is clicked, play sound meow. So this works nice. So when this sprite is clicked, I want to broadcast message and do something. Okay, simple example. So broadcast message, which one? I want to broadcast new message. That's what we're talking about creating new message and deleting message. So for example, I want to we can call it test, but let's call it walk. We want to tell some other character to walk. So let's create message walk. Okay, so I can now pick the message walk here on every broadcast message block. Message 1 walk, message 1 walk. So you can pick it anywhere in broadcast message blocks. So again, when we click on the cat sprite, even though this cat sprite is broadcasting messages, walk, 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 it doesn't. We don't see anything on the screen because we don't have anyone receiving that message and reacting to that message. I've talked about that in my video on broadcasting messages, how they work and so on, but just again, don't worry if nothing happens here. So far it's working. We have tested it with sound, so this, when this sprite clicked, works, but it's just how broadcast messages blocks works. You don't see it visually. So okay, we have something on the screen, and that's all cool. And so for example, the problem here would be this: I want to delete this walk message, right click is not working, delete button on my keyboard, on my delete key on my keyboard, it's not working. So how to do it? The only solution so far, and the simplest, would be to delete the sprite, as I just said on the start of this video. So you click on this sprite, delete, or click on this sprite and click on trash icon, and you can see now there is no walk message here. So that could be the solution, which is great, right? Well, it's not so great. Again, it's very, very ugly and strange. Why? We will show that in a second, but let's first click on Edit, Restore Sprite. Okay, so we have seen the problem for one character, and we have seen the solution, but what happens, for example, if you have like so many code here, like I don't know, I will just drag some. Don't try to do this as I'm doing. Just I'm trying to show you, for example, that you can have, for example, some kind of complex character. Here's so many code, and for example, just because I don't need this message here, walk, I delete the character. But again, look at this code here, look at this code here, this character here. For example, I have made the code to walk, to shoot, to jump, to create, to harvest, to build, all the code, like I don't know, 1000 blocks, and I just delete it like this, and all the code is gone. All of my code is gone for character, which is crazy. Why would you do that? And how would that affect your game? Your game depends on this character, on this code, and now you delete it just because you don't need this message anymore. But that's how things work so far in Scratch, as much as I know. If you know the better solution, just type it in comments so we can all learn from it. So again, that's why I don't recommend this at all. If you have some kind of message here and you don't need it, just forget about it. It's not, it sounds funny, but that's how it is. Otherwise you would have to delete the whole character just to make this message disappear from here. So I think it's not worth it. I think you should just forget it. The possible solution could be to create, I think you could create, for example, let's do that. Let's create a new cat character, so the same as this one, only without the code. Then copy this code to this guy, okay, so we have copied this code, and let's see now if this will work. Now when I delete the first character with the broadcast walk, the second one, it doesn't have it. So you should, for example, create the copy of your character, the sprite first from here, copy the code, and then delete the original character with the broadcast message you want to delete. Again, a little bit crazy, but yeah. So that would be the solution, possible workaround for one character. The things get more crazy when you have more than one character on the screen and when they are connected. So for example, let's pick Amon or Amon, and for example, I want to make a game like this. When I click on this cat sprite, I want the cat to send the message walk, and the Amon starts walking to the right. So when I click on the cat, this guy walks to the right. And it's very simple like this. When this sprite is clicked, broadcast walk, this is the message which we created. And this guy, when he receives the walk, do what? move 10 steps. And this works great. So again, the first guy, the cat, he sends the message walk when we click on it, and the second guy, Amon, he receives the walk message and starts moving when receives the message. As many times as he receives the message, as many times he moves to the right. So this works great. But again, for some reason you don't need this message walk anymore. I cannot delete it. We have learned that so far, I hope so. So I would have to delete the character itself. Great. But what happens? I have deleted the character to delete the message, but the message is still here. Why is that so? Because we have used that message on this character here. So they were connected by this message here, and Scratch somehow thinks, okay, this guy is using the walk message, so he needs that message, so I will keep it here. So now if you, for example, had 1 or 2 or 10 or 100 characters which you have used the message walk on them, you would have to delete those characters also, which is crazy, which is again crazy and very stupid. So one possible workaround would be this. First you go to the secondary character, in our case it's Amon, delete the code where you have the message walk, and then delete this guy here, and now we don't have the walk on our secondary character. So that way our secondary character would be cleared from the message which we wanted to delete. But again, it's so much work, it's so crazy, it's so funny, it's so unintuitive, at least for me. The simplest way would be just to add, right click, delete the message walk, or click on drop down menu, delete the message walk, and that's it. And I think that's it for this video. 17 minutes, but we have learned, I think, how things work in Scratch. Sometimes not very smart or intuitive, but that's the way to do it. And again, why are we doing all of this, and is it needed, is it smart? Why we do it? You sometimes, for example, we have used a very simple example. Sometimes you would, for example, have some kind of game manager or a spawner or some kind of boss or something like that in the game who has like 10 of those messages, or 20 or 100, or as I don't know, as much as you need. Walk, shoot, jump, create, build, defend, attack, and so on. So for example, it could be some real-time strategy where you have an opponent, enemy, who is sending messages to its army, to its minions, what to do. And you have lots of those messages, and those messages are stacked here, like 10 of those, 100 of those, and you, for some reason, you need to remove some of them in your game design. You don't need, for example, a message to defend the base on some level, or defend the I don't know, resources and so on, and you just need to delete it. To make your list here, your drop down menu clear, so you can see faster, so you can work faster, not to be confused and so on. So that would be, for example, one idea, one example where you would need to do it. Or some people just want to work clear, want to have clear user interface and so on, and it does make sense. Again, when games become more complex, you need things clear just to work faster, and that would be the way why you would need that. But again, my recommendation is, if it's not really needed, if it's not very complex game or very I don't know, serious game, don't do it. Just leave these messages here, the messages which you have created, like walk, run, shoot, and so on. Even if I don't use them, I would just leave them, because otherwise I would have to delete either one character here which is sending those messages, or all other characters which are receiving the messages. It would be too much time, too much work for me. It doesn't pay. It's not worth it. It's as simple as that. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and see you in next one. Bye for now.